Hello everyone, I am Matt, and this is my completion of the Realistic Last mod on Insane difficulty. For those of you who have not played this game, or if you're unaware of what Insane difficulty is, it's basically permadeath. It's exactly the same as Nightmare, just with the added bonus of if you die, it's game over. Now let's talk about this mod. Recently I went back and I got all the achievements in the game because I didn't have them. I've been playing this game since it came out. If some of you know me and you're watching this because you watch my speedruns, you may also know that I used to speedrun this game, so I have a little bit of knowledge with the game in general. Like, I know what to do, where to go, all that good stuff. And when I was doing that, I thought, let me see if I can find some kind of mod that makes the game harder, because I sometimes like doing challenge runs and I wanted to do one. And what this mod entails is every enemy in the game is 3 times faster. So you cannot outrun them. They will hunt you down and kill you. They are faster than you can run. You also move slower in this mod. It's not much, but it is slower. So not only are the enemies faster, but you're slower. And you will also die in 1 hit from every single enemy in the game. If an enemy even remotely gets close to you and touches you, you are dead. Vaulting over a box or anything into an enemy will kill you, because any damage that they do to you will insta-kill you. So I went through the game on Nightmare and it was a struggle. I didn't think it was actually possible to even beat it on Nightmare in some sections of the game, but after a lot of trial and error I managed to beat it on Nightmare. And I sat there and I thought to myself that you could definitely do this on Insane. It's going to be hard, but you can definitely do it. And I spent a lot of hours, a lot of days coming up with strategies to be able to get through this mode on Insane. And let me tell you, it is stressful. There is very minimal room for error. One mistake can cost you the entire run. You will die. Thankfully in Outlast, the original one at least, there is a lot of encounters with enemies, but like, it's not the entire game. There's a lot of sections like right now what I'm doing where you can't die. So there's a lot of parts where you don't have to worry. Obviously this is one of them. The first encounter that we get to where we can actually die here is in the basement. So we've got a bit of stuff to play through first. Yes, so I downloaded the mod. I didn't edit any of the files that he gave in the mod, so everything is as default as they left it. I do think that this mod was not tested properly, because like I said, there is literally a section at the end of the game, the final chase for the War Rider, before you pull the power cords out, and then at the top of the big staircase, that section where you have to run away from the War Rider into that airlock door or whatever it is impossible. It literally is impossible unless you bunny hop. So at the end of the run I have to bind scroll. I have to bind jump to the scroll wheel to be able to bunny hop to get enough distance to get into that door. If you just run, you can't make it. It's physically impossible. That's why I think this wasn't tested properly, but I did manage to complete it without I did manage to complete it on Insane, so I didn't die. And this is the run you are watching right now. It took me a lot of tries, a lot of deaths, a lot of stupid deaths, but I managed to do it in the end. And I was very, very nervous towards the end of this. Yeah, I'm going to try and explain what I'm doing, reasons for what I'm doing, stuff like that. This is why I'm going to do this commentary. This is obviously post commentary if you haven't gathered by now. This is not live. I recorded this run in a Discord call with my friend. He was watching me play it. Shout outs to Greg through UK. He was giving me a lot of motivation to be able to do it. And initially he watched me do it on Nightmare, and he thought that I was insane to try and do this on Insane. He didn't think it would be possible. So suffice to say, he was very nervous at the end of this run, as was I. So yeah, in a sec we're gonna see Chris Walker for the first time. You can't like sit in front of the door like you would do in speedruns. You just insta die as soon as he opens it. If you even try and sit at the side of the door and he opens it, he will just turn and kill you straight away. You cannot outrun him. He is insanely fast, and you will see how fast he is by how fast he comes into the room. So for this, obviously I just hide in the locker, wait for him to go like you would in a casual playthrough, because you can't do anything else. But you will see how fast he's already coming past the window there, and then he's already coming through the door. So one thing to note about this mod is every enemy will knock down the doors in one hit. The only enemy that doesn't is Chris Walker himself. He will still take 3 hits to knock it down. And I think that's due to the mod creator maybe thinking that some parts would be impossible. Even with him knocking down the doors in 3 hits, some sections are really hard and very tight. So here we go, we're going to the first encounter of the run where we can actually die. So this part here took a lot of trial and error to figure out a good strategy for it. The strat that you're going to see me use right here is pretty much foolproof. I was doing a strat previously to this run actually, but I kept dying on the first part. But I won't go over that. I'll just explain what I'm doing. So obviously I'm doing the switches. When you activate that first switch, he comes. He's going to break through the door, 1 hit. There he is. He's already through. 1 hit, he's through. So we do this switch, and we get into this locker on the far left side. He'll come in, and thankfully, he will always check the locker next to you. And while they're checking the lockers, they can't get you. So as soon as I know he's checking it, I go. This is the only way that you can gain distance on him. If you try to outrun this enemy, you cannot. He will catch you and he will kill you. So again, I go into this room and I do the exact same thing. I close the door, pop the switch, get in the locker. He will check the locker next to me. There he's already in. He's going to check the locker next to me, and then I'm going to go. And that's the basement done. Pretty straightforward. With this strat, it's very simple to do. With my other one I was doing, it was very difficult. Now, obviously, with this run, you won't really be able to tell how difficult it actually is because you won't see me die. But you can see right here when I go through this, he's already there. They are extremely fast. There is some sections where you can really see how fast they are. But that section right there is not too bad once you know what you're doing. I just got to watch this cutscene, then we're on to the prison.
I'm sorry, my son. I didn't want to have to do this.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you would like to watch this run without commentary, I was meant to mention it at the start, my bad. If you want to watch this without me commentating over it, I'll put a link in the description to watch the run without commentary. I will also put a link in the description to download the mod yourself if you want to try it. It's the latest update. There's 3 updates. The latest update is the hardest one. That's the one that I downloaded. I think it was update 3 or update 2. Oh yeah, I should also point out as well, this run is completely glitchless. There is not a single glitch or skip or anything like that used in this run. If you're familiar with the speedrun community, I don't do any butt hops or anything like that because they can gain you speed in an unintended way. I don't do them. Like I said, there is some spots where I will have to spam jumps to be able to get enough speed. But yeah, other than that, this one is completely glitchless. So again, the start of this level is pretty straightforward. You can't really die. Also, I did record this run. So obviously I was doing it in a Discord call with a friend. This one was recorded. And I didn't stream it or anything like that, but I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/matmat. I might start actually doing more challenge runs from now on because I've kind of got that itch. The speedrunning's getting a bit stale for me. It's also really frustrating at times. And this was a lot of fun to do, even though it was nerve-wracking and stuff. It was quite fun. So right here, I'm going to open this door. Very important that we do that. So initially, when I was testing on Nightmare, I thought this section was impossible without reloading checkpoint. Because obviously on Insane, you don't get checkpoints. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold this door open and I'm going to wait for him to come at me. I'm going to close. And then I'm going to run to that room that I closed the door. Or opened the door, sorry. And I'm going to close the door and get under a bed. The timing for this is very, very tight. Your movement has to be perfect. Because if you're too late getting under this bed, he will kill you. Because he is so fast. The reason why I thought this section was impossible was because I completely forgot that this guy leaves this area. So you'll hear him open a gate. Right there, and then I go. He's left now, he's gone. And when I was initially testing this level, I forgot that he did that. So yeah. So that guy's gone now, we don't have to worry about him. And then this section, we're going to press this button. I'm going to do a couple of jumps to alert this guy to come in here a bit quicker. And then I'm going to get in this locker. And then again, the same as the basement section, he's going to open the locker next to me and I'm just going to go. So yeah, a lot of the sections are straightforward when you know the strategies, like that one, for example. You can't really fail it at the basement. You can't really fail as long as you do it right. But there is a lot of sections that are extremely difficult. Any mistake will kill you. There's a lot of RNG involved as well in this run. There's one section in particular that is completely random and you just have to hope that it works in your favor. If it doesn't, you're dead. And I lost quite a lot of runs to that. Thankfully on this one it worked out and I didn't choke the rest of it. So another added thing to this mod is the twins, or the naked guys, as you might know them as. They're right here. You can see them a little bit with their legs. The twins in this mod run. So in the original game, the twins don't run. They just walk towards you in any section where they are. But in this mod, they run. They don't sprint, but they jog in a sense. They're not too much of a problem though. All the sections that involve the twins are pretty straightforward, even with this mod. Coming up in a second though is the first hard part. The first part where you can realistically die if you're not perfect. Not here, when we get blown out the window. Yeah, I do stream on Twitch. I do plan on doing more challenge runs, and I will probably stream those ones on Twitch. I didn't this one, but going forward I probably will. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, please do. I do have a couple of ideas in mind for what I want to do next. I do want to try and do Outlast 2 in the similar fashion as this, but that game's obviously twice as long. We will see. So right here, I need to be perfect. I need to turn my camera and vault over this right at a specific point. If I do not, and I mess it up, I am dead. Because he will catch up to me. Thankfully, For some reason, he is programmed to not follow you after you vault over that. Maybe because he's too quick or I'm too fast, I don't know, but usually he doesn't. So once you're over that first vault, you're usually fine. Now, coming up in a sec is a pretty scary section. There's an enemy that I didn't even know was in the game because he's so irrelevant normally. But when we get to the top of these stairs, there's going to be an enemy that comes out of one of the cells. And he will kill you. And the problem is, with this mod enabled, there was a couple of times where I ran forward. My camera just stopped moving. I couldn't move. And I just got sent straight back to the start screen. So you have to stick to the left here. And look how close he is when I turn around. You have to stick as close to the left as you can or you are dead. And I died a lot on that section until I realized what was killing me. Because I was just dying to nothing. Like my camera would go straight. I would stop moving and I would just get sent to a load screen and back to the start. I didn't understand what was happening. Because he kills you that fast. The game doesn't even recognize that he's killed you and you just die. It's so bizarre. And now we're in the sewers, and if you remember the sewers, you'll remember this first Chris Walker section. This part again took a lot of figuring out strats to be able to get through it, but the strat that I came up with is pretty good, but it also does require a lot of skill, and you have to be fast for the first section at least. So what I'm gonna do, I was trying to do a glitch here where you could see his head to show my friend. Where you can see his decapitated head. We're going to head straight to the right. I'm going to go straight to this valve and we need to be fast. I'm not going to close this door. Very important that we don't close that door. And then I'm going to get behind this pipe and I'm going to wait for him to come in. He will not see me. But I'm going to lean out so I can see him. As soon as I know that he's about to move to the left, I'm going to run. And I'm going to close the door. You have to be really specific with this close. Because if he starts bashing down the door, before you get to that corner, you're dead. If he starts bashing down the door when you're at that corner, you're fine. Anytime before that, and he will chase you all the way to this crawl space thing. And you will die. He's that fast, you cannot outrun him if he follows you all the way here. But usually if he starts bashing it down on the corner, you're fine. He won't follow you. And then here we're just going to run forward to trigger him to drop down, turn around, get in the crawl space. That means that he will come this way. You need to do that because if you get in this crawl space first, he will just lurk outside of it and you can't do anything. But with this method, he won't even be here and you can just go, no worries at all. Yeah, so a couple of things about this mod. It is called Realistic Last. It has some changes, not just to the enemies and all that. It increases the field of view by 10. It removes the green night vision and makes it just like a white spotlight, like a normal flashlight kind of thing. And it removes the film grain. I think that's basically it. The game is still capped at 62 FPS if you are wondering, which is what it's capped at by default. I didn't change that either. All I did was install the mod and kept all the settings that it gives you as default. I didn't change any of them. So this next part coming up is the water section where Chris is just hanging around in the big open water area. It's not too bad as long as you do the strat I'm going to do, but it can be scary. What I will be doing, which you will see me do before I enter the area, is I also will be binding jump to the scroll wheel. The reason for this is because I had one attempt where I used space to do the jumps and I died. So just to be safe, I bounce jump to scroll here just for this part, and then I unbind it. Also, just to save my voice some sanity, if there's a lot of stuff that's happening, or if there's a lot going on that like I don't need to explain, if it's just basic gameplay where there's no real threat of dying, I'll just try and stay quiet as well. Oh yeah, also forgot to mention, you crouch extremely slow in this mod. I completely forgot to mention that. So in this area, I'm going to navigate without my light. I know where to go, so I just try and conserve my light here. I don't really need to, but where I don't need it, I don't use it. And then right here, you're going to see me find jump to scroll. To get around this this section. Yeah, and I literally jump around it straight to the ladder. Not the ladder, sorry, the jump spot. So you cannot, as far as I'm aware, I mean you can, but it's very, very inconsistent to go straight to the steps. So what I do is I go around the area and get scarily close to him, but you can just climb up here and jump. And then I put it back onto space bar. So this next section is very scary. You can outrun this guy if you do it correctly, but it's very inconsistent and you can just randomly die. So what I do instead is I trigger him to spawn and I jump back here and wait, and he will ignore me and go straight to the end where he's meant to go. That is very tight timing to get that to work. It's very, very tight. If you mess up at all on that movement, he will come straight for you and you're just dead. So now we've got the Male Warden, and this is the section that has the most random part in the run. The first part's straightforward, but there's a section right towards the end before you get in a dumbwaiter that is completely random whether you die or not, and I will explain more when I get there. Oh, right there, my sensitivity just decided to go whack. There's a couple of spots where my sensitivity just went weird in this run, and I turned more than I should have done. Very bizarre. So right here, this part's kind of the same as, I guess, in a casual sense. Close that door. Open this door, close it. You do need to push this in front of this door or they will kill you. And then this part here is pretty simple because they're quite slow coming out of this door behind me, so I can just book it. And then this part again right here is pretty simple. As long as you're quick enough, you should be fine. So do look behind me here because he can be kind of close, but he wasn't even anywhere to be seen. So right here is the randomness. So I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to be standing in this area for about 1:30 seconds. The reason for this is when you run down this corridor, the door is going to open and there's going to be 3 enemies that come out of it. One of the enemies is a naked guy, not the twins, just like a dude that's like no clothes on. And he is extremely fast. I'm talking Usain Bolt, flash fast. He will destroy you. Okay. Now, if you die in this section on a normal difficulty or like nightmare or whatever, he won't come out the door straight away. And everyone I was doing here, before I was relying on him trying to get stuck behind the first enemy, and he just wasn't. It can happen. So I figured out, maybe this is just me coping, but I figured out if you stand here for about 1:30 seconds, it kind of offsets their AI, and the naked guy enemy will not. He will either come out the door or slowly, or he won't come out the door at all. In this run, I was really lucky that he didn't come out the door at all. When I looked behind me, I couldn't see him. If he comes out the door at all, instantly you are dead. You cannot make it to the next vault before he gets you. You are just dead. So I should be going in a second. When I do run, I'm going to do a hop first. Here we go. I'm going to hop to get a bit of distance forward to try and trick his AI. I look behind, he's not there. I'm good. If that naked guy was in that doorway, I'm dead. So it's unfortunate that I had to wait, but it's the only consistent way that I found to be able to do that, or at least relatively consistent, because it is still random.
Who's down there? You're not one of them, are you? Quick, get in the dumbwaiter if you want to live.
And that's that section done. Now we've got the Trager cutscene. So I'm just going to let you enjoy the scene. I don't really have anything to explain, and I'll talk again when we get to the end of the spot.
Hey, you're that bullshit priest's guy, aren't you? As a witness or whatever, you must be exhausted. No, let's take a break, huh, buddy? The old 2-martini lunch? Have a little confab, blah, blah. Heavier than you look. A little cardio wouldn't kill you. Okay, here we go, arms and legs inside the car at all times. You know, I love the mountain air up here at night. You want to head out and take a stroll? Go ahead, I'll wait here. Go on, run free. I'm in no hurry. No? All right. Nose to the grindstone, I like that. Okay then, right this way. We're putting that tongue to any use anyway. Truth be told, I was just tired of licking my own stance. Here we are then. Thanks so much for coming by. We'll begin your consultation in a moment. It'll just need a second to wash up and, well, movies. And it'll give us a chance to talk. You know, I'm a bit worried how much time you've been spending with Father Martin. I hope you haven't been letting him confuse you with all his holier than thou, Bible thumping. No offense to the man, but I sometimes worry he might just be a little bit crazy. It's understandable when people get scared. There's that to turn to God as anything else. I mean, God died with the gold standard. We're on to a more concrete faith now. You have to rob Paul to pay Peter. There's no other way. Murder is the simplest form, but what happens when all money's gone? Well, money becomes a matter of faith. And that's what I'm here for. To make you believe. You paying attention? Don't pass that on me. There's so much for you to absorb. There. Better, right? You understand how we cheat here? We made the consumer into the means of production. This thing is gonna sell itself.
Right. This first section of Trager is very easy. It's the same as like how you would maybe do it in like normal Insane. You just sit here. He'll walk in and then you run. The difference between this mod and like normal Insane is he will jog into this room instead of walking. So to be safer, I let him get a bit further in before I run to the vent.
You can't control it. Nobody. If I you, he's coming now.
So I wait for him to get past the pillar and then I go. Now, this next strat took me a long time to figure out a consistent way to do this part. And it is consistent if you do it right. The strat that I'm about to do is extremely tight. If you fuck up, you are dead. I do mess up a little bit in this run, but I got super lucky that I didn't die. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening this door. And I'm going to close this door, and I'm going to come back through this door and close this one. Trager is now going to come and say hello. And we are going to say hello to Trager. We're going to go through the door. Thankfully, he can't hit us, and we're going to close it. Now, your movement here has to be perfect. You want to close this door, and then we need to run and just push the thing. You have very little room for error. You need to be perfect. So you can see he's chasing me. He is booking it as fast as he can. I mess up. I didn't open the door. Thankfully, I managed to get through and close it just in time. That was very lucky. And he got really close to me right here. He was right behind me there. So yeah, what you do is you just push the thing, open the door, close it in on him quick enough, and you can get away. I messed up opening that door, but thankfully I managed to correct myself and then do it quick enough that he didn't kill me still, but it is very tight. And this next part of Trager is very simple again. Kind of the same as you would do it if you were doing like just Insane normally. You just get the key, come back out and hide in this corner, and then they'll just leave. So one thing to note about this, all this stuff that I'm doing, is there's a good chance that if you're trying to just do Insane Mode normally, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here will not correlate. That door strat there will, where you like go through the door and then close it on him, that'll work fine. You'll have plenty of time if you do that to get through the door. That should work perfectly. But there's a lot of strats that I'm going to do that if you try and replicate them on Insane aren't going to work because it relies on the enemies to also be fast. If they aren't fast, it's not going to work. So Trager's dead. Apart from that second part to Trager, Trager's very simple. And now we are coming up to what I personally think is the hardest part of the game on this mod. One of the scariest parts of the game on this mod. And that is the valves to turn on the sprinklers. Oh, I should also mention, because I know someone will put it in the comments, and probably call me a cheater or something. I don't know. People on YouTube are weird. At the start of the run, I left the intro in so you could see the car ride and me actually selecting Insane difficulty. You can know that I am playing on Insane difficulty because I am not getting any saving prompts come up in the bottom left. But also, at the start of the car section, I had to cut in this attempt that you are watching right now. Because obviously if I'm doing an attempt and I die, it will put me back at the start, but I don't have to watch the first cutscene again. So, yeah, so right here, you want to get in, close the door. If he's in front of the door, you can't turn on this valve and you have to go into the locker first. But because he wasn't in the door, it means he lost me for a second, so I was able to do the valve first. Now what I'm doing is I'm listening very closely for him to break a door down, which is a door in the other area. When he does, I know I can go. So there, he breaks it down, starts breaking it, and then I can go. That is consistent. He will always go and break down that door, so then that I have a free range to just run to this next thing. This will look very tight, this crawl space, but it is consistent. He will try and grab you, but you're already on the other side and you're fine. So back to the intro. So yeah, so I died, and then I did another attempt straight away without watching the cutscene. So just for the sake of convenience of keeping the intro in and so you can see me selecting the same difficulty, I cut in the attempt of me actually doing it after I died, after the cutscene. So right here we run past this light. That will trigger him to come back to us. And then this part is this is why this section is hard. Right here. So we have to basically hope that he walks to the end of the corridor. To where that door is down there. On this attempt here, he doesn't. I have to then go and trigger him again. And the reason this is tight is because you need to run at a really precise point in his movements so he won't chase you instantly. If he turns around and chases you instantly, you are dead. You will not make it. So I'm waiting to see if he will go forward. When I know that he is going forward, I go out. I wait until he passes the door and then I go. If you do that, you have just enough time to get into the locker. I didn't look behind me here, but he is right behind me. It is scary. You have just enough time to get in this locker. Now have fun watching this locker because this section here requires a lot of listening. So I'm listening for him to move to my left. Once I hear him move to my left, I will go out the locker, push the switch, and get back in. There, I heard him. I press the switch, get back in the locker. Now this part is where it gets hard because the rain or the water makes it very difficult to hear him. So right here, I end up turning up my sound. I didn't want to fuck this up on this attempt, so I turned up my volume. And I end up sitting in here for a while actually because I couldn't really tell where he was. But all I'm basically doing is trying to listen out for him to be on my far left. And then I know I can go. If you don't, he will catch you in that crawl space and you will die. So I heard him on my left then, but I didn't know if because I'm trying to listen from him going to the right, from the right to the left, or like from behind me to the left, and then I know I can go. I probably could have gone then. I didn't risk it. But there I heard him go to my left. I know he walked to my left. He wasn't like walking to the right from the left. I heard him go to the left, so then I went. And he doesn't even hear me on this attempt, and he didn't even come to the crawl space. And that's that section done. That section is scary. This was the first attempt on a full run that I actually made it past that. So all my other attempts have died either before that or on that section. This was the first section or the first attempt where I actually got past that. So I was pretty nervous from this point forward. But I was confident that my strats were going to pull me through. And then this section's just pretty straightforward, so I'll come back and explain. I got stuck on the body there. I'll come back and explain when we get to the next part where I can actually die. And if you're wondering, that wall rider can't kill you. Oh yeah, good thing to point out here. You have to use a lot of night vision in this section coming up, so I take this battery here, so I reload and take it. I might at some point maybe try and do this challenge again without using the night vision camera. I think that would be pretty insane though, because of how precise your movement has to be in some sections. If you can't really see where you're going, it's going to make it extremely difficult, but maybe. So when I was going through Nightmare, and I was just playing this on Nightmare to see if it was possible and all that stuff, this section was one section I thought was going to be impossible. But it turns out it's actually really easy for some reason. So all you do is when you hit the ground, you crouch, and you just walk around this rock. If you wait long enough, he will be far enough to your left that you can just run to the crates. Because of how fast he moves, like his patrol is really fast as well. Also, another thing to point out about this mod, there is no chase music. So when you're getting chased by an enemy, there is no music for that. It turns it off. So in a lot of sections, it's hard to know if you're actually alerted and you are being chased. Right here, this part is scary. So what you need to do is you need to bolt around this corner and then instantly turn around, and you need to just crouch here and wait. There is a chance that when he will come into this area, he will look right at you and you are fucking dead. He will not move and he will kill you. What I'm basically waiting for is for him to get far enough away from me so I can run to the crawl space. If you don't do this, you cannot do this section. The strat that some people do for like normal insane will be to run around the gazebo and just then run to the crawl space. But because of how fast he is, you can't do that. Not even remotely close. So I'm just waiting for him to kind of push to the left. This was the first time in an attempt I'd seen him go over there. So right now I'm just waiting for him to move to the right. I don't know why I said left. I meant to the right. Sorry. So I see him move in a second. He's coming towards me. I got scared. But he goes to the right. And then I just said, fuck it. And I went. Kind of risky, that one. I probably should have waited for him to go a bit further to the right. But I didn't want to wait any longer because he could have come back to me. And that's that section done. And now we are on the fuses. So when I was routing this, this section was probably the hardest one in the run to get these fuses. And it took me a lot of hours of constant testing to figure out a strategy that worked relatively consistently. And then I kept dying. So then I spent a lot of more hours finding another strat that was consistent. And this one I feel like is very consistent. And going into this on this attempt, I knew that I shouldn't die. I wasn't that nervous. Also, imagine doing this and you die to these jumps. Very scary stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the fuse ahead of me first. But before I do that, I'm going to grab this battery on the floor. Because I used up all of one battery in the previous area. We're going to get this fuse first. Now, when you pick up this fuse, it triggers a guy to come into this room. So what I'm going to do, it's the most consistent way I've found to like route this area, is I'm going to push this box in the way. And then as soon as I let go of it, I start a timer on my phone for, well, not a timer, I start a stopwatch. So I know exactly how long I'm waiting for. To make sure that he reroutes to the other area, and I know that he's not going to kill me. So I start a stopwatch on my phone, and at 54 seconds I start pushing this, and then usually that means that a minute I can open the door and go. So I'm basically waiting a minute to be able to go. So now I've waited a minute, I'm going. I'm going to put in this fuse first. And then I'm going to jump over this railing. And I'm going to do a bunch of jumps. This is to make a lot of noise. So he hears me. This mod, I forgot to mention this as well. There's a lot going on in this mod. This mod makes it so that the enemy's vision and hearing is very insane. And they will hear you and see you from miles away, literally. So when he goes around that corner, I wait 5 seconds and I'm going to go. And that gives me enough time to get these 2 fuses. Actually, it gives me plenty of time to get these 2 fuses. Now, I have tested going straight back to the thing during this, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. He will be there because he patrols this area actually really slowly until he sees you, and then he starts booking it. So I'm going to get these 2 fuses, and when I exit this room, I'm going to close this door. This isn't that important, but it just gives me an audio cue that I'm going to need soon. So I'm going to get under this bed and I'm going to wait. What I'm waiting for here is for him to path back to that room that I was just in with the fuse. And the reason I close the door is because I will hear him break down the door. Now on this attempt, I don't hear him break the door, but I do see my camera shake to know that he's broken the door. So that's when I go. But I am trying to listen for him to break the door. So right now I'm just waiting for him to come back. He can come back instantly. It can take a while. I don't remember how long it took on this attempt, but it wasn't that quick. I'm literally just waiting for him to run past. Yeah, if you wanted to attempt this challenge yourself, there he goes. If you wanted to attempt this challenge yourself, feel free to follow these strats. There you saw my camera shake. That means I knew that he broke the door down. And that gives me enough time that he doesn't know where I am straight away, so I can just put the fuses in and leave. And that's that section done. Pretty consistent, pretty easy once you know what to do. And honestly, for the most part, towards the end of the game, from this point forward, it's not that bad. There's only like 2 difficult-ish spots left where you can die before the final chapter, before the lab. And one of them is coming up in a second, actually, where we're going to see Chris Walker again. But it's not too bad. And I reload to make sure I've got my max battery. Now there actually is a part during this run when you lose your camera. So fun fact, when you get your camera back initially for the first time, the enemies that are behind you don't actually start chasing you straight away. But if you die or restart checkpoint or like quit out and then continue, they will instantly chase you. After that point, it is literally impossible to get over the railing before they kill you. I didn't try it with bunny hopping, I believe. But because this is insane, it doesn't matter if I die. Also right here, the twins, they're going to be running after me. Not walking, but running. So what I do is I get a bit of distance and vault over these to kind of like stop their pathing. Pretty simple. I didn't actually die there at all, I don't think. But yeah, so this section I'm going to lose my camera because I'm on insane. I have to do it first try anyway, which means the first few enemies won't start chasing me straight away, but they do get a lot of time to catch up. And on an attempt I died right when I went to climb up out. I don't know how. But on this attempt, I fucked up. I do not know how I did not die. Because I went to jump to one of the vaults and vault over it, and Miles just decided to just jump into the vault thing. He didn't actually vault over it. I do not know how I did not die. But I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. I guess you could say it was nerves getting the better of me. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. As long as you do it right, you shouldn't die, but you can die. So we just pick up the camera and run as fast as we can. So these enemies right here will not chase you straight away on the first attempt, which is lucky, because if they did, you would have a very hard time getting past this. And then your movement here has to be perfect. But apparently you can get a bit of leeway. So right here I messed up. I turned this corner too tight and then I didn't jump this. I thought I was dead 100%, but somehow I did not die. And I'm very glad I didn't. And then we're coming up to the next Chris Walker section, which is actually pretty simple if you know what you're doing. One thing that's key with this run in particular is doors and lockers. Doors and lockers are very important because it's the only thing that you can really use to slow the enemies down. If you didn't use doors and lockers to your advantage, it would be impossible. There's no way on this earth that you could do it. No way. Right here he's going to come. I'm going to open this door. And I'm just going to wait for him to get to the door. As close as he can. I'm going to close it in his face. And that will make him knock it down. And that gives me enough time to get out. And then the rest of this part is pretty straightforward. There's the twins encounter in the theater. That's not hard. You just sit in a corner and wait. I will say something about it when I get there. But I'm just gonna stay quiet and let you watch this part because there's not really much to explain.
You're him? Yes, I'm supposed to tell you.
So right here, I'm going to grab the key. And the twins come into this room, and normally you sit in the corner and wait. You can do this on this mode as well. The problem is I fucked up here. So I tried to jump over this, and he wouldn't. He just stood there for a second, and you have to be quick because the twin will break down this door instantly. Straight away. And this scared the shit out of me. Because I wasn't close to the wall and he turned to look towards me. Thank fuck he did not see me or I would have been dead. So that was another case of pure luck from me fucking up. There's a lot of luck in this run that I will not be complaining about. And again, there's not really much to talk about here. We're just going to go and watch Father Martin burn himself. So I'll be back again once we get to the last Chris Walker section.
Am I ready? You are. We will join the Wall Rider in just a moment. My Job, you alone shall escape the Talva. This is your penultimate act of witness. The promise of the prophets was always freedom from death. And here it is. You will watch and record my death, my resurrection. And together we will be free. You are no longer fix the elevator, it will take you to freedom. We will all of us be free. Now, my son.
Alright. So right here is the final Chris Walker section. This is intense on like even on normal insane, and it is pretty intense on this as well, but I found a pretty good strat that you can also do on normal insane too. But on normal insane it's a lot easier because you get a lot more time. So we're going to book it straight to the right. And I'm going to go right to the door at the end of the corridor on the left, and I'm going to open it. I'm going to wait for him again to come right in front of the door, and I'm going to close it in his face. That will make him break down that door, and then we can just run. Now this is still quite tight, because he will be right up your ass before you get through this door. So again, you just slam this door in his face, and then you're home free. So now we're off to labs. Again, there's not much to explain about in labs for the first section. The first chase where you run down the first corridor after you trigger the alarm thing is basically the same as the normal game. He is faster, but he spawns really slow, so you still have plenty of time to get to the door. So I will start to explain some stuff again after the Wernicke scene where we listen to him talk for a few minutes, so I'll be back after that.
Just kill him.
Okay. So this part is very tight. Your movement has to be perfect here. If you get stuck or mess up at all, you are dead. So you can see me facing the ground a little bit to make sure that I turn these corners as perfect as I can. And then again up these stairs. If your movement isn't perfect at that start part, you will get killed after you get through that pipe. And then here we're gonna go over to turn off the valve. One thing that I am going to do here, which is very important, is on the way to the big staircase room, I'm going to close 3 doors behind me. If you do not close these doors, you don't have to close all of them, you could probably just close 2. I do end up closing 3. If you do not close those doors, the wall rider will catch up to you when you enter the big staircase room and you will die. As soon as you open that door, he will kill you. Also to point out, if you don't take that shortcut there, you can still make it to the big room. So I close this door. I close this door. I don't close the doors at the top of these stairs because there's 2 of them. I'd have to close both of them. But I do, however, close this door once I open it. And now with how far behind he is because of the door closing, we don't have to be perfect up these stairs, but obviously it helps. Oh no, wait, no, sorry, he is behind you. I forgot he doesn't open. I was thinking that he opens the doors. He doesn't open the doors as a ghost. He is actually close to me. So right here is where is the big killer. So I have to bind jump to scroll wheel here. It is physically impossible to do this by just running. If you run, even if you vault, you will die. So I'm here, I'm prepping myself because this is a run killer. I need these jumps to be perfect. So I have to cut this corner as tight as I can, and then I have to start doing scroll jumps to get into this door. If you do not do those scroll jumps, you are dead. If you just run, he will kill you as soon as you get around that second box at the end. You will just die. You don't stand a chance. Without doing those jumps like that with the scroll wheel, it is physically impossible to complete that section. So that's why I had to do it. And then here he's not actually chasing you here, so you can just run back. And now, problem is, since we closed this door, we have to open it. But thankfully, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take a little shortcut here to get over the railing, because the wall rider has to take down the stairs. I'm pretty sure if he didn't do this, he would kill you. And then we press the switch. And that is it. That is the game. Insane mode. Permadeath. On probably the hardest mod of the game, where every enemy is like 2 to 3 times faster and you will die in one hit. This was a very rewarding experience for me to do. I'm very glad that I actually managed to finish it. It was very scary, very stressful. Took a lot of practice and a lot of testing. But I managed to do it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, there is going to be a link to a run of this without commentary if you'd prefer to watch that. Again, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/MatMat. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. There's also a link to my Discord if you want to join that. I'm going to try and do more challenge runs because I've been kind of getting a bit burnt out with speedrunning, so I want to do something a bit different. So I'm going to try and do more of those. I'm not sure what I'll do next, but I will start working on something straight away, and I'll probably stream that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll let this cutscene just play out. And yeah, that's it from me.